Hi everyone, Fenris Models here, and today I wanted to show you my technique for achieving a marbled surface without the use of foil or plastic wrap. So the first thing I did was make sure that the plastic was as clean as possible. This technique relies on achieving as smooth a finish in each stage as you can, so you want to be extra sure that there's no mold release agent still clinging to the plastic. From there, use the instructions to isolate which parts you want the marbling to be on and set them aside from the rest. Now, part of achieving that smooth finish is going to be getting a good primer on your parts. Even better, if you use a surfacer, use that and then a primer. Here I skipped that step and just went straight to the black primer. And at every stage of painting, make sure you go slow and get a nice even coating on the parts. Do multiple passes and multiple coats if you have to, but avoid getting any sort of paint pooling or running. This will ruin the effect and you'll need to strip and start all over. Now the fun part starts. You'll want an old tatty brush for this. I prefer brushes that at one time were rounds, but really any brush will work. You want the bristles already starting to fray a little. Here I have two sizes, one for the larger areas and one to get into the tiny details, but in reality you can get a good effect with just one size. Now with these brushes we'll make a stippling motion so the bristles all splay outwards randomly. And this here is the core of the technique, and it's quite simple really. Load up the brush with paint, wipe off as much as you can as if you're doing a dry brushing. You don't need to get as much off the bristles as you would for dry brushing, but it's the same kind of idea. And from there, stippling motion. I start with the white, and I pick out where I want the marbling to center around. And now because we want this to look as random as we can, I will both vary how much pressure I use when pushing the brush down, as well as rotating the brush in my hand so the bristles aren't aligned the same way twice in a row. And now, also at this stage, we want to make sure to leave some negative space on our quote-unquote canvas. So don't cover the entire thing, and don't worry if the white isn't getting painted uniformly in its saturation as well. And in other words, if the white isn't doing a full coverage and it's looking almost kind of gray, that's actually ideal. That variation will add visual interest, and it'll end up looking quite natural when we're finished. Once all the parts have gotten some white stippled on, I just add some gray to the palette and proceed to do the same process with ever darkening grays. With each subsequent shade, I apply the stippling both less forcefully as well as picking out less and less area to cover in that shade. Again, we want to make sure we leave enough negative space to really make this pop. And that, my friends, is the hardest part of this whole technique. From here, I cover the parts in a light coat of whatever clear coat I'm using. In this case, for this goof, that's Tamiya's X23 Clear Blue. It's important here to still go slowly and make sure that you're applying nice, even coverage of the paint. And there you have it. This is how I achieve a marbling effect without the use of foil or plastic wrap. It's a quick, fairly simple technique that gives great results. While I did use an airbrush in this demonstration, it is perfectly possible to use this technique entirely with hand brushing, provided that you can achieve smooth coats with paint. This means plenty of usage of thinners and leveling agents, but it is 100% possible to do. You do not need an airbrush for this. So yeah, tell me what you think of this technique. Is it something that you're going to try on your own kits? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you're interested in more tips and tricks for your scale modeling. And as always, stay safe and keep modeling.